Hello, hello. How we doing today, my friends? What's going on, people? Welcome back to Friday. You made it through the week. You made it to the end. You've made it to the last game again before we have to wait another 2 weeks for another pointless and silly international break. But then we have a solid run all the way to like a little January winter break that's not an international break, and there's even some games and things in there. But then all the way to February for an international, and it's going to get busy. It's going to get really busy. So this is it. This is the last one before a solid run. This is the last few weeks of suffering, of waiting for such a long time for games to come around. Even the games come every 4 or 5 days in December in many instances. So and even end of November. So I hope you're all doing well. I hope you've all had a good week. It's been an interesting one. Some of the stories, some of the things, and obviously all followed up with today. If you haven't seen, it appears that Kobbie Mainoo has not traveled with the squad. Why is that? Is it just a little injury? Is it something like that going on? Or is it something more? We don't know yet. We have no idea. Hopefully we'll find out soon. Got a few messages out. So maybe while we're on the live, we'll get an answer, or somebody will answer, and we will find out. But yeah, it's obviously appropriate timing because the Kobbie Mainoo discussion is definitely one of the things I wanted to talk about a little bit more today in terms of really what's happening on that front. Ruben Amorim admitted, obviously, as he said before in his interviews, that he sees Kobbie and he should be playing, but then he has to take somebody out, and we just don't have enough games. And it doesn't mean someone else is shouldn't be dropping or doesn't give United the best chance to win at this point. So we're gonna talk about that. The issues do seem to be, to me, growing on this topic. I think it's a very tricky one. It's a challenging one, and a very heated one in general. But let's see what we find out today as well before making any sort of assumptions as to why he's not present for the day's game. It's just odd, this happening as of the moment. It feels odd, this happening right as everything ramps up. Everything ramps up. All the talk about Kobbie ramps up and all of that as well. And the stories do too. So thank you all for being here. I hope you're doing well. Please, as you file in, as you come in, make sure to drop a like on the video. It helps me quite a lot. And tell me, where are you all watching from? I like to do that from time to time. I used to do it every single time, but let me know, where are you all watching from today? Where are you in the world? And what time is tomorrow's game for you? For me, 5:30 a.m. One of the rough ones. Besides Pacific time, the guys who we have here an hour behind me, one of the rough ones. It's one of the rough ones. And then we have a lot of games not on the weekend after this as well. DC, Detroit, Alabama, South Africa, New Jersey, Belfast, your mom's basement. Where's the basement? Hungary, London, South Bend, Indiana. Nice. A lot of Americans in here right now. Manchester, Mank living in Bangkok. Nice. Galway, Greenville, Central Time. It's been a while since you've been able to join a live. You're at a car dealership. Yeah, you can get some weight in there. Eastern Time for some of you, 7:30 a.m. Donegal, Belfast. 4:30, there's our Pacific time friends. Zambia, Roninge, I'm going to get that wrong. Sweden, anyway. Kenya, New York City, India, Newcastle, Iceland, Bangladesh, Chicago, Manchester, Bucharest, Trinidad and Tobago. Why are you trying to dox? I already know where you live. Florida, Salem, London, the Caribbean. I hope everybody in the Caribbean is all right after the hurricane from the last week. New York, Manchester, London. Fletcher's a good player. He is a good player, and we'll talk about that as well. That appears Jack Fletcher is with the team. We should throw 100 million at Van de Ven. What a player. I mean, we do want a center back. We do need one, but Pretoria, South Africa, Ontario, New Orleans, Yes. More Islanders. Dublin, India, London, Brady's house, Cape Town. All right, cool. So very spread out at the moment, okay? But yes, I hope you're all doing well on this Friday. So what did I want to talk about today? Let's pull up, let's look at some things. We're definitely going to get to the Kobbie Mainoo situation, if there is one, as well as the squad and the Spurs game, and look at our lineups and matchups and all of that. And that'll make up a good bulk of the conversation today. However, I do want to talk about something else first, and that is obviously United are in the market for center backs, right? We're talking about center backs. It's something that it's center backs are something that we still need more of, that we have a lot of question marks on. Lisandro Martinez obviously still not in the squad. There was some thought that perhaps he would be there was a lot of reports anyways that he was going to be available from the last international break to this one, and that he was going to make it into the squad and onto the pitch. But that is still not the case, as kind of expected, and why you've got to be a bit careful with some of these long-term injuries, because when someone gets an ACL injury, gets a knee injury, something like that, you definitely have to keep an eye out. The time to come back can be a long time, and you don't know how they're going to come back. And I'm not going to necessarily, I don't want to put like a damper on the feeling with regards to that or anything, but genuinely there are serious questions in terms of not Lisandro's application, not his commitment, not his passion for United, not his personality or anything, but the simple fact of you just don't know what is going to happen with a player when they come back from a knee injury like that, especially after a few. So he's going to need more time. Obviously, this means he will not be making an appearance before the international break, and we will hopefully have him. But that means, what do we have questions on? We've got questions on Lisandro. Maguire still has niggling injuries from time to time, contract expiring at the end of the season. Our most reliable right now are Shaw and De Ligt. Obviously, we have Yoro as well. Mazraoui's been injured a while. We don't, if there's one area where we're picking up injuries, where we don't have a ton of fitness, and where we have a lot of question marks, it's still, the center backs. You know what I mean? And so we certainly need one. So I was taking a look the other day. I think Lisandro's career hangs in the balance when it comes to like at this level, right? When you have those kinds of injuries, and he was already, not the most physical type of player out there in terms of, not physical, but athletic, I should say. In general, you already had those kinds of concerns in that front. So I wanted to go through with you guys and take a look at what we need. What do we need out of the center back, and talk about some of the names that we have had before, because two names that we've looked at in the past are Gonzalo Inacio and Guehi are two of the names we've definitely looked at center back and considered in terms of a signing at different points in time. The question is, would we return to looking at someone like Inacio? Would we make a play for Guehi in the summer? And what type of center back do we really need? And this is one I need to start looking into more, because I think it's a question of when you follow like Shaw this season so far, and De Ligt, for example. Let's take a look at them. Wow. Mighty impressive. Let's take a look at the differences between right now in terms of Shaw and De Ligt. What are they providing? So from Shaw, you're getting a really good balance right now. I'm quite impressed with Luke Shaw, I gotta say. You're getting a really, really good balance if you're talking about a left-sided center back, that Amorim needs someone who can carry the ball, who's passing forward, who's progressing play, but who's also winning. Shaw's doing a really good job in terms of being well-rounded, where De Ligt is really a battering ram defensively. He's getting forward, winning duels at an extremely high rate, at a very, very successful rate, and helping us out. So I think partially it depends on where are we looking to get somebody? In the left center back position or in the center? And that would be the question. Now with Guéhi, obviously, it's a little hard because of the way that Crystal Palace play to see what he's doing stylistically, but I think is he a great progressor of play? Is he somebody who can play in one of the wide positions and move the ball up the pitch, or is he somebody you stick in the center of that defense who's going to challenge and be aggressive and all of that? That's a question that I don't have the answer to because I don't personally know enough about him. But let me just tweet something real quick. Talking the center back first. So yeah, I don't know much about him in that respect, and it's hard to measure him on this Palace side statistically. Aerially, he's worse than both of these, so you feel like maybe he needs to be out wide, but then you have the concerns over the back post, things like that. The other option, another one we've obviously looked at in the past, is Inacio. And if you look at Inacio, of course, he played for Amorim. We've been watching him for years. What do you get out of Inacio? You get a wide center back that gives you unbelievable progression in that respect. Now, I've got concerns about Inacio. He's been on United's radar for some time. He is a very good player. With the ball, there is absolutely no doubt in my mind. He provides you exactly what you need. He's an incredible progressor of the ball. But in some ways, I would see him a bit like Pau Torres. They're very similar players. I liked Pau Torres as well. But you do have a bit of an issue. I've watched a lot of Inacio, and I just worry about his transition to Premier League football in terms of the pace of the forwards, the physicality of the forwards. Can he deal with it? Because he has struggled. He has struggled against more physical and faster forwards out there in the league. So those would be my concerns with him, but he obviously has the ability to pass it. Now, we looked at somebody else at Leipzig, I want to say, in the German league. What's the player's name? There's a player, I can't remember if he's moved to... Yeah, De Bast is one that I would definitely, though, consider. Again, partially it's hard to measure in Sporting because they're such a possession-dominant team in there, but De Bast, I think, has a lot more potential in that position and is somebody that we should look at. He's quite tall. You could play him in the middle, and I think he would do quite well. Luke Baz, who I was thinking of. Yes, thank you. We have kept an eye on him. 22 years old. You look at him, very, 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 very well-rounded player is Luke Baz. Obviously, if he's at the Leipzig system, Vivell will be familiar with him as well. We have kept an eye on him over the last few years, so he's one we should keep another eye on here. Very good passer, aggressive defender, played in a back three, I want to say, at certain points already. Would be an interesting option. Would be definitely an interesting option. There might be expensive, or at one point he was quoted to be very expensive. Also, only 22 years old. So, yeah, this is one to keep in mind on there that we have looked at. If we toss Euro on here, what are we getting from Euro? We're getting he's a very good ball carrier. He's good progressing. Needs to be a bit more on the defensive side this year. Schlotterbeck is definitely one that United have looked at, as of course have everybody, because that's why, okay? Because he's unbelievable. He's on another planet. Lukeba? Okay, fair enough. I'm never going to get all the names right. Schlotterbeck would obviously be, I think, in many respects, the perfect player. I think we all know that, right? And we've talked about him in the past. He does everything. He does it all. He's an ideal center back for a system like this, but it would be very, very difficult, I think, to obtain him from Dortmund. Very expensive. I'm not sure if they're prepared to spend that kind of money on Schlotterbeck. but also in terms of competition, obviously being at Dortmund, Madrid, Bayern, can you even get him? Is he somebody you can get? Don't know. That is a real question that I don't have the answers to, but that is he would be another target. So there's a few really good targets out there that we're gonna have to keep an eye on. In terms of who we go for, I'm not sure. It's far too early to say, but we'll certainly be adding to the list now, including those other names we've been talking about: De Bost, Inacio. Who was the other name? Not Lukeba, but the first one that I looked at. Anyway, I can't remember. Oh, Guéhi, of course, if he doesn't go to Liverpool. Because in the Premier League, obviously with Guéhi, you're getting that Premier League proven. He's a leader. He's a strong character and all of that. And I think that will help. But so there's a lot of options out here. Antonio Silva, the hype died on him because he's just not that good. And I would avoid him. I have my concerns over most of the Portuguese center backs. I think De Bost is the one with the best quality and potential, but I have concerns in general. I've seen a lot of people mention Jaquet. Obviously, if we decide to go for him, that would be great. He's a top player, but we don't have any sort of links, I don't believe, as of yet. But these are some of the ones we have to keep in mind as options that will grow. So for now, in terms of the known list, I knew of Lukeba, Schlotterbeck, Inacio, Guéhi, and De Bost. And then we're going to keep adding to that list, and we'll build out a big list. And then we'll see, is it central or left-sided? And some of that's going to depend on what else happens. I don't think we have any more solid links as of yet beyond those names that I know of. Some of those are in the media. Some of those are mine, like De Bost, I think, and Inacio for years and years. But there's some others. Nathan Collins has been on our radar for quite some time because he was recommended previously. Now, it's hard to measure him statistically because statistically he looks like crap, but he's a very good player. That's just a part of being at a club that plays in a certain style and things like that. So that would be another one. A bunch of the other ones we were looking at already moved, for sure. I think there will be more strong links, but I think we won't know until March when that list narrows down. So remember, in talking about how we go about it, right now we're going to build the big lists out, and then later on we're going to shrink it. Scalvini we had on our register, but didn't he get I don't know how he's come back, but he doesn't even have enough minutes to show on here because he had a big ACL injury. Did he not? Did he not? And then Braithwaite, we have the same issue. He signed a new deal. He's the right fit for that left-sided center back. He's still perfect, but signed a new deal and has had just insane injuries. So I don't believe right now we will be revisiting that one. Anything can happen, but at the moment, I don't believe we'll be revisiting that one. But we do need a pacey player. I think that's really important. Yeah, Scalvini got hurt again. We need a pacey player at the back, and that's why I'm thinking it's probably not Inacio. It's probably not going to be, because they want some more pace. That's certainly something we struggle with at the back. Pace, but also being very good on the ball. Braithwaite's perfect, but he just can't stay healthy. Just can't stay healthy. It's crazy. Just can't. Don't know what to say about that. So that's the center back angle that I wanted to discuss. The other thing is on the wing backs, okay? On the wing back side of it, we're hearing Diego Leon is starting to settle in. He's starting to grow. He's starting to improve. He's playing well at the under-21s level, but also we're hearing more positivity about him in first-team training. And so that's a good thing. That's a very, very good thing, because this is part of the situation when we speak about, like, this wingback thing where we're saying we don't necessarily have a wingback at the moment. We're not really prioritizing a wingback, but it is on their radar. But we have a lot of players. We have a lot of options. We have a lot of potential in there between Dorgu and others. And the thing with Dorgu is they really definitely have not given up, okay, on Patrick Dorgu. You know, they really haven't. He's one of these players where when you look at him statistically, he looks incredible compared to most fullbacks. There's a lot of things he's doing well. Defensively, he's strong. I'm going to pull Dalot up on here. This defensive stats from Dalot is absolutely pathetic. Dorgu's got to play. Dorgu's got to play. But yeah, you know, defensively, Dorgu has a good record actually in terms of winning and all of that. He's putting lots of crosses in. He's creating a lot of chances. He carries the ball well. He's just got to get certain attributes sorted out, but they just have not disagreed. They have not given up on him. They have not given up on Patrick Dorgu. Okay. Do you think Amos consideration too? Because his loan is going well. Yeah, for sure. Like there's so many options here when we look at it with Dorgu, Amos, Leon, Mantato. We have so many options in the young ranks that are starting to kind of come through and saying we do. And Leon, we've got like 5 potential options. Okay, so that's why it's not a priority, even though it's on their register. Like this is why you buy all these young talents though. In Dorgu and Leon and all of these players, this is why you buy them, because and Amos loan, which is likely to be extended, because you look and you go, somebody's got to come through out of that and produce, and you have a really, really good chance that someone will come through out of all of this, right? And that's what they want. Somebody's got to come through, and they're still going to want to see that happens. I still have a lot of hope for Patrick Dorgu. I seen it in preseason. I watched him, and I know it's preseason, but I've watched him in so many games get into incredible positions. He'll sort it out. He's so young and he's so inexperienced. I think he's going to come good. I hope he plays tomorrow as well, because Tottenham are a very, very heavy crossing team. And Dalot does not, for the life of him, ever block a cross. I don't think he's ever challenged a cross in his life. And I think Dorgu's better in the box as well, defending. So, but yeah, I think we'll sit tight unless like a great opportunity shows up at the moment, and then see what happens with all of them. But, you know, look, I understand there's names people really like Diouf and... he's not actually a fullback, and you know, I don't think these guys will classify as fullback, so it's hard to see them. You know who's as interesting is Ahmad's chart. When you look at he's like an insanely good defender, and he gets the ball up the pitch. It's pretty, which is what you want out of him as a wing back. It's interesting his chances created are low, but I think a lot of it comes into Mbeumo, you know, actually ending up with the chances. Ahmad's doing a lot of like the pass before the pass and things like that. But I find his chart to be kind of funny. But it also speaks to the fact that like both of these guys in Dorgu and Ahmad are defending so much better than Dalot. Come on, man. Come on. Just give us Dorgu back for a few games with Ahmad on the other side, please, Ruben. I beg you. He did talk in the last game about needing to spread out Forrest more and needing the left foot. So I think hopefully he will feel he's got it wrong, and that it's time to make the switch over there. Now, I want to make mention before we move on to the next topic, a couple of things here. I need to talk about something. So tomorrow, 5:30 a.m. for me, I will be live over on BigUp. And there is a link below because there's a special game going on BigUp right now to this competition. And it is a pick them competition where you actually get 6 choices. You can see my selections here. You pick up to 6 choices. Okay, and you play, and you can win up to $225. It costs a maximum of $6 to enter, okay, into this competition. You can play between 2 and 6 choices. It's like an accumulator. The more you play, the higher your odds are of the higher your, the odds are and the higher the payout is. Now, they're actually as well running 2 promotions over there on BigUp. One of them, which is absolutely nuts. Every person who enters in this competition has a chance to win $25,000, which is insane. $25,000. I don't know why, but they're giving away $25,000 to somebody who enters into the competition. Not just on my channel, but all channels. Every competition entry gives you a chance to win $25,000. And in addition, when you enter and play in this competition, they will actually give you 500 big bucks back. So it ends up being, if you pay $6 to get 600 big bucks to play, the maximum amount you can do to play this game, you'll actually get 5 of them back. So it costs $1 with a chance to win up to 225, and you get entered into this competition to win up to potentially as well $25,000. Someone earlier this week won just $10,000 on the platform for playing one of these games. There's a leaderboard, game feed, all of that will be happening during the game, and we will be over there. So use the link below and sign up for that, and you can see if you can. I made these 4 predictions and see if you can beat me. You just go there, select them, submit below, and go. Okay? So that's that. Now, I want to move on to discussion about the midfield then, because we've talked about the wingbacks, we've talked about fullbacks. I want to talk about the midfield and the whole Kobbie Mainoo story as of now. I did want to debate this and discuss it a little bit more before we move on to talking a little bit more in detail about Spurs and the game itself, okay? Let me just retweet now. Okay, so yes, it's time to talk about Kobbie. Interesting here. So, there's been a lot of debate. Ruben Amorim said, I see Kobbie Mainoo training today, and he deserves to play. But then I have to take one guy out that's playing really well. And this is kind of the issue we are having, where at the moment we are sitting in this situation where we just have too many players for the number of games that are available. And so some players that are playing well are not available. There's just not enough minutes. I'm very, very firmly of the opinion to let it ride out because, again, United want to keep Kobbie. They want him to stay. They want him to be a part of the future. All right. But it is going to require patience because we are in this period of just so few games. Even next month, the games come thick and fast, and they get much more busy. Now, the issues otherwise with Kobbie are, of course, that, there's things that he's got to do in order to impress in training, on the pitch, all of that in order to fit into the team, but also to earn a place in it. It's a little worrying at the moment today that after all this discussion this week, him still looking to go on loan, that he's not in the squad. I wonder why that is the case. I hope it's nothing serious and all of that. But, one of the issues that obviously was discussed even previously.
You should start promoting VPN companies to bypass blackout games.
Not a bad idea. Oh, and I just have to mention one more thing. I should probably do something with NordVPN or something like that. You do need to be in the UK or Spain to play in that game. So take a quick trip. Speaking of VPNs, not that I'm suggesting you would do that, but you do need to be in the UK or Spain in order to play in that fantasy competition. Since you're spending some real money, it is a sweepstakes, it is a competition, it is not gambling, but you do need to be in the UK or Spain. So yes, VPNs are a good thing, by the way. There's a lot out there. NordVPN, Proton VPN, there's some good ones. Anyway, if you like VPNs for some reason, but thanks, Joe. That's a good idea as well, actually. But yeah, there's a lot of issues in all of this, in terms of what is needed and wanted as well, from Kobbie. I don't know about the phrasing from Ruben, because when the midfielders aren't playing well, Kobbie still didn't get a shot. I disagree with that statement, though, and I'm going to disagree with that, because Bruno's been playing well the last 4 games. We've been winning. So when were we going to make a change? You know, Kobbie's come on in certain minutes and certain points in times and things like that. And it hasn't necessarily been spectacular either. But regardless, there is a future there. He's a young player like Dorgu. Look at Dorgu, for example, here, all right? Dorgu right now playing behind Diogo Dalot, who's certainly playing a hell of a lot worse than Bruno Fernandes. We're not hearing that Diogo wants to, that Dorgu's going to go on loan or something like that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's the same situation, but the point is, if you don't consider this international situation to be relevant to the club, and it's not, then Dorgu is in a very similar situation to Kobbie Mainoo. Same age, not necessarily like in the team, and all of that. So the fact is that right now Mainoo is behind Bruno, and there has to be some sort of acceptance of that role. At times that can happen. You can end up in those situations. It's very, very different. And the issue is that it was 2 games into the season. Again, I don't care who was in the England team. Okay, I really don't care who was in the England team. Okay, Maguire's not in the England team anymore, and he played it for years and years. Like, I don't care about the English team at all. It means nothing to the club. The club can't sit there and go, well, someone was in the English team, so therefore we can't make decisions based on what we see on a daily basis. It's irrelevant. I'm sorry, but it is completely irrelevant. There is no point to be gained from England. None. Absolutely none. In that respect. So there are factors in this. There are factors in this that are difficult, and everyone's going to have to accept that's just where we are. And the team has to be built as a team. We have to see. I hope that he plays more through the second half of the season, but it has to be said that trying to absolve the player of all responsibility for earning their place is not right either. So there's a balanced middle ground to all of this. Why he's not in the squad right now, I don't know. And we don't have any answers yet as of today. Hopefully we do get them before tomorrow, and it's nothing serious at all. But look, there are... the right answer is in the middle, and I don't think it's, he is to a degree a small victim of the circumstances that we just don't have a lot of games, and they're all Premier League games where you're not trying to rotate every single game. In addition, though, at the same time, you have to have the ability to make yourself undroppable, and you have to have the ability to work your way in the team. And you also have to have the willingness to be patient in these types of positions. Again, we're not talking about these stories having started after 6 months. It was 2 games. And it was so dramatic to the point of having to have a sit-down meeting with the club and manager about trying to leave in the final few days of the window. It was 2 games. Okay? So there is a middle ground on this, and we can't just say that Kobbie bears no responsibility for the situation, including we also have the contract situation at hand as well. So hopefully we find out what is going on. And hopefully it is nothing serious, and hopefully in the December, November months and all of that, he plays more, because as Ruben Amorim said, he wants him to play, he wants him to play, and we will. And there will be more games, and we will get there. There has to be just some patience about this in general. But again, it's been 10 Premier League games, and he's played in most of them in some role or another. There is a point, where it's just that regardless of whether it's fair, it doesn't matter, man. We have to take what is in front of us. We've so many times in the past as fans, we've gotten so worked up about this player needs to play, that player needs to play, this player needs to do this guy's the solution, this guy's the answer, whether it's youth, whether it's senior players, whether it's otherwise. And you know what? We're almost always wrong. In fact, the only manager I would suggest that has been unfair on players was Erik ten Hag, and he's not here anymore. Okay? Most of the other times, we just have to let the manager and let the team make their calls. It's not like they're making the right calls in this case. We have a structure, we actually have a management system, and we have a totally different setup here. The difference between Amorim and Ten Hag is Ten Hag was corrupt. Picking people because of his SEG affiliation. He had massive fractures in the dressing room where people didn't like him, where he was pushing people out, where he had all sorts of issues in that respect. That's not happening here. Kobbie's the only unhappy player in this squad right now, basically. Even Xerxes, who would like to go on loan or something as well, it's a very different situation, and we're not getting the same types of briefs and stories and sit-downs and all of that kind of stuff. And we don't have this much debate over Joshua Xerxes either. As long as the team is out there, it is what it is. We're not on the training ground. They have to make those types of choices, and there's a lot of people in place to make sure that is happening as well. So we'll see. At the end of the day, the results dictate everything. As long as we are winning, then Amorim is right. And if the results turn negatively and go bad, then we are wrong. But him sticking with most of the players that he did stick with have started to produce results. So there is also a reason for that. Yeah, there's an article today saying Xerxes hasn't requested. Correct, he hasn't. And he hasn't. He definitely hasn't. So yeah, if the results drop off, then the noise becomes even louder, but that's just the truth of it. At the end of the day, we have to win games, and whatever works to win games is what matters. And the reason we didn't rotate so much is what we're seeing now, that sticking with some of the things he was sticking with took him a few games to get going, and now it's going. But in addition, obviously, Jack Fletcher. Now, did I get the right person? Jack Fletcher included in the traveling squad, I want to say. Yes, it was Jack Fletcher. So this is the known squad for traveling right now. Lamens, Bayindir, Heaton, Dalot, Yoro, Mazraoui, De Ligt, Dorgu, Shaw, Maguire, Ugarte, Casemiro, Fernandez, Mount, Jack Fletcher, Cunha, Ahmad, Sheshko, Mbumo, and Xerxes. We have two academy players there in terms of the record. It is Heaton and it is Jack Fletcher, obviously, as academy options in there. Jack Fletcher is a really, really good player, and it's been expected for some time that he would be one of the guys who potentially steps up during AFCON as well, and gets in some sort of place in the squad or in the traveling team regularly. I would say Fletcher, Shea Lacey, and potentially one other in there will be the three I would bet on in that. But no, Heaton is also technically somebody that keeps this record alive, just FYI. So it's not a guarantee that it will be Fletcher in the actual squad right now. But we have, 10, 15, 20 players. So at least one is going to be left out there. So we'll see if it's Heaton or if it's Fletcher or who it is in this respect. But I'm sure one of them will be selected, and the record will continue. So that's that. I do think Jack Fletcher's a really, really exciting player, and I hope we get to see some actual minutes, and all of that in there. Lacey's looking very Ahmad type for wingback. I would keep him up front. I don't think he has the defensive, when we're looking at Ahmad's stats and his duels and things like that, I don't think Lacey will be doing that as of yet. I would definitely keep him up front. What happened to Mentato? Nothing. He's still working. He's playing regularly at the under 21s level now. He was in the under 18s most of last season, having some injury things. He's playing now for the under 21s pretty regularly. He signed his pro contract. Again, if we had more games, we'd be seeing more youth be able to be integrated into the first team, but we don't. And so that is putting a damper on, obviously, the ability to do so at this point in time. But hopefully, as the season gets on, we'll see a few of them step up. And again, during AFCON also as a potential. There's nothing crazy. There's no big issues there. Let's move on here and talk a little bit about Tottenham. I was looking at this interesting numbers from data analytics EPL in this graph. Tottenham have put in the most crosses in the league. Mentato's doing well. He's right. He's with the under 17s World Cup at the moment as well. Coyote interesting one. I'm just going to go back to that really quickly. Coyote from Brentford. I linked us to him 3 summers ago. I want to say United were watching him, considered making a move for him. He's a good player. So I know the club have a lot of data on him. They did consider a move for Coyote. I'm trying to remember what summer it was, but he was on our list for quite a while in there. But yes, let's move on from Tottenham. And I agree, Cooper, that the problem with Kobbie is he's very important for the previous manager, but we finished 8th and 15th. I'm not blaming Kobbie for that, but it's easier to be important when things are really shit. And we had like 33 injuries every single week going on. One of the problems we have is practically nobody's getting injured. Now, if Kobbie is injured, this speaks to some of the earlier concerns about whether or not he stays fit well enough, which was part of the original concern when Amorim came in. I hope that's not the case as well, but it does have to be factored in. The ability to stay fit and healthy is something too. Speaking then of Tottenham, let's get right into it and move on from this topic, because I understand it's very controversial and I understand people feel very passionately in different directions. But yes, Tottenham are the most crossing team in the Premier League. Kind of bad news for us because, of course, we keep conceding crosses. Okay, we keep conceding on crosses time and time again. We're conceding from crosses. We conceded on crosses twice against Forest. We conceded a lot from crosses. I mean, this is not our forte. When we played Chelsea, when Maguire came off the pitch, we immediately conceded again from a cross into the box. Now we have a better goalkeeper than we had at the start of the season, but this is definitely a game for Harry Maguire. And so I've been thinking about that. I definitely would be starting Maguire, because when you look at Tottenham in general, they suck. Okay. All right. Look, this is the crazy part about Tottenham. They've created 11 expected goals, but scored 17. They've conceded 14 expected goals, but only given up actually 8. In terms of actual chances, they're at -3, but in the real world, they're +9. They are the most overperforming team in the Premier League. Now, that's a lot due to a hot start, because their last few games, it's been crashing down to earth. And like I always say, the numbers don't lie. You will catch up with your underlyings eventually. Okay? So they create fuck all, actually. Their defenders are scoring goals, and it's a lot of set pieces and crosses and things like, I don't know if it's actually set pieces or not in particular, but because they don't create a lot from set pieces, but they have only created 9 XG from open play. A lot of them are crosses. So, I don't know, man. Like shot zones, I'm guessing they get a lot inside this in the main area because there's a lot of crosses and things like that as well. So that's what they do. They're just they're not good, and yeah, I know they do not create chances, but still, yeah, they do not create chances, but they still it doesn't mean we're gonna win. It doesn't mean we take it easy, but they're so low in here. We have to just defend better and we win this game. We have to defend better and win this game. We've got to. The other thing that's kind of crazy is that they also don't counterattack. There's a lot of reasons why this is a team that is a good matchup for us right now. Because how do they score goals? How do they attack? Slow, out wide, cross into the box. What does that mean? It means you can play Casemiro. It means you can play Maguire because they defend the box well, but they're slow. But we don't have to worry about pace in the center. We don't have to worry about pace down the middle because they don't counterattack. So we're able to play Maguire and Casemiro likely without their weaknesses being exploited. And it plays right into our hands in that respect. So it should be a good matchup for us. It should be the ideal way where they play out wide, not through the middle, cross in the box. We have Casemiro defending it. We have Maguire defending it. We should deal with it. And we should be good at really, really neutralizing what Spurs have. And that's why I think they're going to defend a lot. They're going to defend deep. They're going to hope that then they can get to us. But what we need to do, and there's one more stat I wanted to pull up here. Let me just make sure I have it. Is this? This is pretty cool. United are the best counter-attacking side, counter-pressing, I should say. Best counter-pressing side in football. Okay? So when you face a team that does not counterattack, you can press and push your team up a lot higher because you're not worried about them getting in behind you so much. Again, it's almost the ideal matchup for us to push our team up the pitch, camp in their half, and sustain some attacks without having too much worry about a counter-attacking threat. And I think they're going to park it, and I think we need to recognize that, attack fast, and regain the ball quickly, and really settle into getting quick and fast possession in their half and staying there. Keep them away from our box and control this game. I know that's hard to do. It's different to what Spurs have done in the past, but I think that the game is kind of primed for them to attempt that, right? To attempt to take away our advantage of playing fast, of playing quickly, and keep it. And the thing is that we are so good at counter pressing. If we do it right and we're brave with the center backs, pushing them really high, when we lose it, we'll win it, and we can keep sustaining those attacks and breaking them down. But we have to be really, really brave. And I think that's the approach to take in this game that will give us the win, is really going for it, like full on going for it, pushing those center backs high, being super aggressive with our press, with our counter press, not worrying so much about the counter. If they break through us, if they get back quick, defend in the box and stop those crosses and limit that, and we'll be fine. So I want pace and in the wide areas, but solidity in the center, and I think we'll be okay in there. So it's an interesting matchup because it's, in theory, it should work out really well for us, and they're not very good. But it's about whether we show up. It's been this way so many times. It's about whether we show up or not. I mean, that's what it's always. On these early kickoffs, I feel like we always lose. I don't know if anybody has a record, but I swear to God, man, every time I wake up at 5:30 a.m., it's a loss or a draw. I can't remember the last win. maybe I'm just not remembering it well, but I cannot remember the last win at a 5:30 a.m. game at the early kickoff, the 12:30 for you in the UK. I don't know if anybody on hand knows, but I can't remember the last time, because I swear to God, they show up like they're half asleep still, and it's depressing, and it's super frustrating. It's killed us. Now, maybe that's because in years past, we've been in Europe. We've been playing more games than anybody. So the early kickoff just means less rest, right? Maybe it's nothing mysterious. And that's the reason, is that we have less rest because we've had midweek games for ages and ages and ages. And now we don't. And then maybe it'll get better. Maybe that's the only reason it was so bad. You know what I mean? I hope that was the only reason it was so bad. I hope. And that now that we don't have games, we won't be affected so much by the early kickoff. But we've had one early kickoff this year, I want to say already. Have we not? Who was it against? Was it Fulham or was it... I woke up at 5 for one game already this year. Was it Fulham or was it... I feel like it was Fulham or Brentford. I don't know. It was like one of those. I felt like I'm sure we had an early game this season and it was shit. I don't remember. But yes, Brentford it was. That's right. Yeah, exactly. Brentford it was. Yeah, God, that was depressing. That was the crappy one. So yeah, that sucked. We can't have a repeat like that because that was a terrible, terrible game. We lost bad. Yeah, that one was really upsetting. So that can't happen again. We cannot do that. We can't. I can't. My mental fortitude can't handle that, and especially with an international break. A bad loss in an early game to a 5. Yeah, that was a 6:30 a.m. I think the Brentford one at that time for me. I think this is the first 5:30 on a Saturday we've had yet. But yeah, so let's get to the lineup here in a second. Once again, for those of you joining or interested or what have you, again, there's a link below to head on over and join the Pick'em competition over on BigUp, where you can win a real prize. You wager between $2 and $6 to enter. You will get $5 back just for entering to use on the site and for other games and things like that. You will also be entered into a raffle to win $25,000 from BigUp. But you choose the link below. Come join, come play, come compete with me and the rest of the community. Again, costs very little and you can win a lot. You'll have to be in the UK or Spain, so take a quick trip over there. And in other news, maybe we will get a VPN sponsorship. All right, let's get to the lineup. So every single week, we do the same thing. And we've been really consistent with picking our lineup this week. I do want to vote on a few key positions, so let's do it. I want to go back to striker because I want to know your guys' thoughts. And this, I'm not saying this is a reaction to Šeško's not having a great game or something like that, but genuinely, I personally would strongly consider returning to Cunha for this game at striker with Mount in the 10 because they have so much pace at the back and Van de Ven from Spurs. I feel as though we have a better shot in this game of using Cunha and Mount and dropping and mixing into the midfield and getting Mbeumo out wide with pace to get behind them than I do with Šeško. That's just my feelings. It worked against really good physical center backs, Liverpool. I thought he struggled against them at Forest, and Spurs also have some really, really strong and physical center backs. So I think we should switch it back up. I think it'll work, and then I think bringing Šeško on later to punch it through would help us quite a lot. That's my feeling, but let's do the vote. What do you guys think? Can you loan me the entrance fee? Well, you could pay as little as $2. That's all. Yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on this? Alternatively, you could say that We need a big player in the middle if they do park it. Van de Ven too quick. Yeah, that's what I worry about. I'll give a few more votes here. I think you guys are going to go with Šeško. Fair enough if you do. Okay. All right. So we get Šeško back in here. Obviously, we're going to have Mbumo. We know that. We don't need to do that vote again. Cunha at striker, we might as well forfeit. We've had some of our best games with Cunha at striker, but whatever. I mean, Sunderland. No, that was Šeško, actually. That was Mountain at 10. But still, we've had some of our best games. All right, let's do the center backs. So CB, we know Shaw's going to play, and I think everybody would support Shaw. Which center back pairing do you want for this game? Out here. I'm going to give you a pairing for the two center backs. Oh, never mind. You just don't like Cunha. Never mind. All right. Fair enough. Liverpool, we won. Yeah, I mean, you don't like Cunha. Okay, fair enough. Weird take, but okay. Okay. Van de Ven is 3 of the 5 highest sprints ever recorded. Yeah. You do have a VPN. Well, no, you don't have to be in America. You can be in the UK or Spain, and I'm just giving the US equivalents. You know what I mean? Big H loves a game at Spurs. Yeah, he does. He does. I think Harry has to start tomorrow. He has to. I think Harry has to start. I think he has to. He fits the defensive needs of the game so well for me. Just perfect. So, just perfect. Shaw, Maguire, De Ligt, yeah. Yep. I like everything that Cunha does. Trust me, I've analyzed his movements. I think they're way better than he gets credit for. I pretty much have been... you ain't going to convince me about anything with Cunha. I think he's really, 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 really tops. And I think that if he wasn't playing with a dope on the left side, he would look really, really good. Okay, let's go for... Yeah, what about France? I don't know. Left wing... Let's go with the midfield. Do you guys... Bruno plus Casemiro, or do we go with more energy in this game? What do you guys want? Bruno Cass still? The only thing Cunha's, for me, not doing well is his ball striking. He's usually better at it, like he was with the goal that he scored. Other than that, I have genuinely almost no problem with the way that he plays. All right, that's ones. Nobody's changing here. And then I'm going to assume, but we will vote for the 10th time. I swear to God, Ruben, it's like my one. I think he's gotten so much right recently, but he's just... This one is like baffling to me, okay? It's still baffling to me. Come on, Ruben. Come on, Ruben. Just come on, man. Okay. I'm just confirming, everyone. Okay. There you go. There you have it. There's the team you guys voted for. I think it's the exact same team as last week, bar one change, which is Maguire in for Lenny Yoro. As kind of expected. Please, Ruben, please, I beg you. I beg you. Blood is thicker than water. You want to know something funny about that, by the way? Blood is thicker than water, that statement. The statement blood is thicker than water means actually the exact opposite than you think it does. The statement blood is thicker than water means the blood of the covenant or the pact is thicker than the water of the womb. And it actually means that the agreements you make in life are more meaningful than the happenstance circumstance of being related to somebody. It's the exact opposite of how that phrase is used. It's just a stupid fun fact that you learn over time. It's the exact opposite of the way that it's used, that phrase. Anyway, and I think it means a lot more when it is used in that way, which is the point. And it's true. What you have in life is more important. Amen. I love it. Yes. Okay. So there's your team. This is mine. I went with Cunha up top. And Mount in the 10. Otherwise the same as you guys, but I wanted Cunha in the 9 tomorrow. I think it'll work better supporting the midfield. And I think Mason Mount loves a game at Tottenham as well. Brother James, yeah. I think Mount loves a game at Tottenham as well. Yes. Thank you for the enlightening definition. Of course. It's just really interesting. When I learned that years ago, I thought, wow, that's kind of a lot more meaningful. You know what I mean? It sounds a lot more meaningful that way. It actually it's not just like a phrase. It actually is makes you think a little bit. You know what I mean? But yeah, there you have it. This is my team. So one change from you guys. I want Cunha and Mount in the team. So yeah, I want Cunha and Mount in the team. So that's it, guys. That's the team. I will not be live before the match unless I cannot sleep because it is 5:30 a.m. I'll probably just be straight over to live on BigUp for the match. I probably won't have a pre-match live, but I will, of course, have a post-match live for us to get going and to talk and hopefully have something good to say after 4 straight losses to Spurs. One more time as a reminder then, I will be live on BigUp 5:30 a.m. Link is below to that. Enter in to join the competition and win before then. Get your chance to win $25,000, but also to win prizes. If you can pick right, you get you have to do a minimum of 2 picks up to 6. Get your multiplier and all of that. Compete with me and others. And lastly, I'm wearing, of course, one of the merchandise being sold on the website right now. Not that one. One of these. This one in white. So you can always pick up your Muppeteers merchandise as well. And I hope that the people who have are enjoying it. I've had good feedback as well as from the Rooney doll that somebody in chat also has. Okay, that's it for today's live. I'll publish my preview. Will come out in an hour and a half or so. Brief 10-minute recap of certain things, thoughts on the game, all of that, predictions as well. So make sure to catch that if you're missing me too much this afternoon or evening because I've done this live earlier than usual. And that's it. Otherwise, I'll be here bright and early, not so bright, but very early to watch. And hopefully we can pick up this win against Spurs. I appreciate you all very much for being here. Thank you. What's our weakness as a team right now? How can they exploit us? Make the game chaotic. And I think just shake us more mentally. You know what I mean? That's what most teams do. Make it very chaotic and shake us mentally. I think we defeat ourselves more than teams defeat us, you know? Very nice too, Brother James. Appreciate you all. Thank you all for being here. Make sure to drop a like on the stream as you leave. I appreciate you very much as we move into this final game, and I will see you all bright and early. Again, link is below. See you later, everybody. Have a good rest of your Friday, and good luck to United if I don't see you before the game until afterwards. Okay? Goodbye.